So if you've been working hard before your holiday this year and you don't want to undo it, this guide is exactly for you. So you've spent months dialing in your nutrition, training hard in the gym, and you're finally feeling in great shape. And that summer holiday that you had booked is now looming on the horizon, and that little voice in your head is telling you you're about to ruin all your hard work. And I'm here to tell you that you're not, unless you let yourself. And I'm going to show you exactly how you can go away and enjoy yourself and still stay in great shape. I've put this whole approach into a free guide, the Holiday Blueprint, and it's the exact protocol I use with all my one-to-one clients before they jet off on holiday. If you want to grab yourself a copy, the link is in the description so you can grab it now or after, but I can assure you by the end of this video, you'll know how to go on holiday, enjoy yourself, and still come back in the same position that you left off. A holiday itself will not undo months of hard work. What undoes all the hard work is this all or nothing approach. You have one bad meal or spend the night drinking a bit too much, and then you throw the towel in and it becomes a free-for-all for the next 10 days. And the holiday becomes an absolute write-off from the perspective of looking after your physique. And then upon your return, when you get home, you feel like shit, you're guilty, so you fall back into that trap of eating whatever you want for the next 2 weeks until you finally pluck up the courage and say enough is enough, and then decide to get back on track. Now, virtually everyone upon weighing themselves when they return from a holiday is going to see an increase in weight. But in order to gain body fat, you need to be in a calorie surplus for a sustained period of time. The weight that you see on the scales when you get back is a post-holiday jump in water retention, increased sodium, food in transit, and dehydration. Expect it to happen, ignore it, and then carry on as usual. Now, I like to keep this so simple. It doesn't need to be overly complicated, and a simple process I follow is the 4-pillar structure. You do not need to track your food in order to keep your abs and still be able to enjoy yourself when you're away. You need to make sure that you are moving daily and set yourself a minimum step target. You don't have to be going to the gym unless you particularly want to, but at the very least, you have to make sure you're moving on a day-to-day basis at a fairly decent volume to give yourself some flexibility with your food. You need to hydrate properly as well. Obviously, when we go on holiday, the temperature is usually higher than it is when we're back home. So you're going to perspire more, you're going to lose a lot more water. So we need to make sure we are hydrated adequately. Quite often, dehydration will mask itself in the form of hunger. So although your appetite might be increased, it actually might be a sign that you need to be drinking more water. And you need to structure your meals. You've followed a similar principle, no doubt, in order to get in shape. You have to keep this structure whilst you're away. It doesn't have to be exactly the same, but we want set meals, relatively similar meal times, and probably like you have done when you've been working hard to get in shape, avoid the snacking. And if you want an exact breakdown of my 4 pillars, it's all laid out in the Holiday Blueprint for you. But my killer tactic, and the one that allows you to be able to enjoy yourself more than any other whilst you're away, is my pick 2 rule. If we look at a meal and we break it down into 4 components, you have starters, mains, desserts, and alcohol. The pick 2 rule effectively means you pick any 2 of those 4 for the meal that you want to relax and enjoy yourself a bit more with. So you might choose a starter and a main. You might choose a main and a couple of glasses of alcohol. You might choose a main and a dessert. And as long as you follow this structure, you can then be pretty flexible with the choice that you have because you have been more adherent throughout the day and following that structure that has kept calories low, volume high, and at the end of the day, you're on holiday to enjoy yourself, and this grants you that flexibility in order to do so. And here's a few other little tips that you might find useful to help you stay in shape whilst you're on holiday. If you're at an all-inclusive, it's not a reason or an excuse to eat as much as you physically can, okay? When you go up to the buffet, do a little recce lap first, look for the quality as opposed to the quantity, and then stick to the 1-plate rule. 1 plate, fill it up as much as you like, but aim to get good quality foods on there. Front load protein and veggies at every meal. This is going to keep your protein intake nice and high. It's going to keep the volume of your meal nice and high whilst keeping the calories relatively low. Again, providing you with more flexibility at other meal times. When it comes to those meals that you want to enjoy a little bit more, actually order something that you want. Don't martyr yourself with a shit salad that you're going to resent later on. Pick a meal that you actually enjoy, so then you're not driven to go and pick up snacks on the way home. And the biggest thing I would say is to avoid snacking. One of the most common habits I see people do whilst they're away is they sit on the sun lounger all day and it's share bags of crisps, relentless amounts of alcohol. So In between meals, we're probably getting at least another 2 to 3 meals worth of food and calories. So even by the time you've hit lunchtime, you're probably already into a surplus. If you keep to a relatively strict meal structure of breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and you're being sensible with those meals and then enjoying yourself a little bit of the evening, which is obviously the time when most people tend to go out and eat, you'll stick to your maintenance calories there or thereabouts and still be able to enjoy what you like. And at the end of it, you're still going to be looking really fucking good. Now, coming home, this could be argued that this is the part that matters most. And this is where progress is lost. If the scale weight is up, which it inevitably is going to be, you don't need to crash diet. You don't need to do anything extreme. You just need to go back to what you were doing. Follow the same meal structure, prioritize protein and veggies, get back in the gym, get back doing your steps, and stick to eating your calories at maintenance. Any of the extra weight that you have gained, if you've been following this principle, will drop off within 4 to 6 days, and within a week, you'll be back at the same weight that you were before you went away. So if you've been working hard before your holiday this year and you don't want to undo it, this guide is exactly for you. Everything I've spoke through in this video so far, plus the full meal structure, my hydration formula to ensure that you're drinking enough water, the eating out tactics, and the coming home reset is all laid out in more detail within my holiday blueprint. It's completely free. The link is in my description. Drop your email in there and you'll receive a copy within your inbox straight away. So if you've got a holiday coming up and you've worked hard to get into shape, this is perfect for you. And if you found this useful, give me a like and a subscribe, and you'll see plenty more content like this coming soon.